It is a great joy to be here with you, Rosie, of course, co-founder, CMO of Fanhouse. And we really want to give the audience an idea of how the future of work involves platforms such as you, how it liberates creators, how it enables them to, earn money, to monetize some of their content via, not your usual social media. Talk to us first and foremost, Rosie. How would you explain Fanhouse?
Yeah, well, Fanhouse is a creator subscription and community platform, and it basically helps creators earn an income via things like monthly subscriptions, locked content, tips. So top fans and supporters of a creator is able to, subscribe through a paywall, access exclusive content, and support that creator monthly. And in return, the creator is able to have this wholesome community of their supporters where they can interact, talk to each other. And that's essentially how Fanhouse works.
When you say wholesome, of course, many have rather lazily associated you with OnlyFans, which is far more intimate, sometimes explicit content. You're not about that, right?
No, Fanhouse is not an adult platform. So we were really founded to be about personality, to be about communities. And so it's wholesome. When I say wholesome, I really mean that, it's supportive, it's genuine, it's a place where people are coming to know the real you and to support the real you.
Talk to us about the real you, because of course you're known as Jasmine Rice Girl on the platform. You built up a very strong Twitter following, particularly when you were back at school. Wharton School, of course, is where you graduated from. And I'm interested in your story, why you were driven to create, why you were driven to found this business.
Yeah. So yes, this is something that I experienced firsthand as a content creator. I've been a creator for over 2 years now. I have close to 150,000 followers on Twitter. And I was a college student at the time when I kind of started thinking about monetizing my platform. I was paying through college and providing for my family. And when the pandemic hit, I lost my work study job and was really like, I need to find a way to make money online. And yeah, as you know, my handle online is Jasmine Rice Girl. I don't usually go by my real name. I keep certain parts of myself private from the internet, and for good reason. If you could see through my DMs and see through some of the comments that I get sometimes, you would do the same. And so part of me was seeking a revenue source, and part of me was seeking just a safer place to be myself, to talk about, struggles I have, to talk about, things in my work life, things in my private life, my relationships that I'm not going to put online. And so I was trying to monetize like my private alt Twitter. I was trying to monetize, if you want to talk to me in my DMs, if you want to ask me for questions, ask advice, because I don't have time to reply to everything. And so with my co-founder, Koi, whom I also met through Twitter, we started reiterating on this idea of a creator platform that creates a space just like that for people like me to be able to make money and, again, have safe community.
Because I think, and you were doing pretty rudimentary stuff with the Twitter, for example, if you want to DM you, I'll Venmo you $5 or something along those lines. I mean, your story is one of, it's raw, it's real, you came from real poverty at some parts in your life, and trying to sort of fix for that and empower other people to be able to, be financially stand on your own 2 feet. It's something really worthy. And I'm interested in what was failing on Twitter and other social media platforms out there already. That was it more the payment perspective, or was it the safety perspective, or was it both? How have you answered for those two things?
Oh, it's both for sure. I mean, I can't tell you how many unsolicited nudes that I get in my Twitter DMs, and I'll report them and nothing happens. Those accounts get to keep messaging me. And in terms of the money front, right? A year ago, Twitter had absolutely nothing for a creator to make money. And even now, right, they have a tip jar, they have super follows, but those are not built out, honestly, very well for creators to really be able to have a stable income. And yeah, I used to do these things all on my own, right? Like Venmo me $5 and I'll reply to your DM. And that used to be whether or not I had money for lunch that day. And so, when we started Fanhouse, it was a lot of creators like that were drawn to the platform. People on Twitter with sizable followings, but nowhere to make an income. And I'd get messages about people, supporting themselves through law school, not having to take on, extra part-time jobs because their Fanhouse makes more money for them. And that's really what we want to empower here.
A new way of working. Talk to us about who's there? Who is the community that's gravitated towards your platform? Who are the creators out there that are most prevalent?
Yeah, right now we have a huge demographic of streamers that are on Fanhouse. And I think streamers have gravitated to the platform because, similarly, they have a big community, but when they're live, sometimes it's impossible to keep up with all the comments from their community and to
break down what a streamer is quickly, Rosie. Like, you're talking about someone who's a key gamer and people are watching them game, or someone who's talking more about purchasing. What's a streamer from your perspective?
So anyone that goes on live to speak to a camera for hours and hours every day. And many of them are gamers. Some of them just, talk about their lives or do activities like cooking. But many of them are gamers. And yes, it's hard for streamers because they have to be live for 6+, 8+ hours every single day. It's draining. They don't make money unless they're live. And then while they're live, they are always prone to, harassing comments. Like, you have to have hundreds and thousands of moderators sometimes to keep that community intact. But when you kind of put a paywall through it, like on Fanhouse, it filters out so much of that noise, so much of that harassment. And if we built in, extra safety and security features to keep Fanhouse safe, things like 2FA, you have to connect a phone number, things like credit card linking, you can only put one card per account.
Okay. Also, you're sort of erasing metadata, ensuring that things are watermarked, uniquely watermarked, so they can't be copied and posted elsewhere. I'm interested in sort of the demographics. You've got about 4,000 creators on the platform now. When I think of a gaming streamer, I think perhaps, is that more generally a guy? Or are you finding that more women and non-binary people are being brought to your platform?
Yeah, I think we primarily have much more women and non-binary creators. And I think a big reason for that actually is because the social media platforms like Twitch actually don't serve female and non-binary creators as well, right? When you think about like sexual harassment that, is targeted towards minority and marginalized creators. And when you actually look at who is making the most money on Twitch, that list is all men. So actually the people struggling really with making an income again and having safe communities are women, non-binary folks. And so I think they come to our platform much more easily.
A Patreon or something like that, another platform where it's all about a creator monetizing what they're doing. Is that a kind of competition? How do you set yourselves apart from those sorts of players?
Yeah, I think Patreon, works very closely to how Fanhouse does. And I think they serve a lot of creators as well. I think they're targeted a little more towards traditional creators, people who creating arts, creating podcasts, a little more tangible in that sense. And Fanhouse is geared a little more Gen Z towards our, new age social media creators, like someone that's blowing up on TikTok because they're really good at dancing. It might be a little hard for them to find content to put on Patreon, whereas Fanhouse, it feels like social media, but with a paywall.
And we have an audience question, actually. You're exciting people to put their questions out there. As CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, are you marketing on TikTok? How are you drawing in future contributors, future creators to join your platform rather than someone else's?
Yeah, we do a lot of social media marketing. Twitter is kind of my world and sphere, and that's where Fanhouse has grown the most. But we want to have a TikTok presence, and we're actually hiring for a TikTok content creator to be on the team and build that out for us.
Okay. Anyone in the audience, get your CV out there. Meanwhile, how does it feel? Does it feel like a private social media? How do you ensure that it continues to feel authentic, unique, that people can really sort of, what are the ways in which you can partner across the board to entice bigger and bigger creators to feel that they have some sort of direct contact with their fan base out there?
Yeah. So actually something that our team is trying to work on and are really excited about is platform integrations, right? Because a lot of fan identity currently and the way creators work, yeah, like your discoverability is on, Twitter, on TikTok, on Twitch. And then when you want to have a little more intimate space and community, that's ideally Fanhouse. So we want to be able to partner with all these platforms to help people find who their top fans are, right? Not everybody has money. I know that. And so the paywall answers some questions, but not everything. And so something what we're looking into is, for musicians, right? Can we integrate with Spotify? Can we find who your top listeners every month are and reward those fans by giving them free subscriptions, by giving them badges and rewards for being a top fan, right? Because Spotify isn't doing that right now. It lets you listen to the music, but on Fanhouse now, because you listen to that music, you can earn rewards and you can be recognized. And on the creator side, right? Like we get to know, oh, these are all the people that are supporting us with all of our works, with all of our income streams, and it just feels like a great place to be. And I think, yeah, my Fanhouse is a lot like that.
The minute you said badges and rewards, that immediately makes me think of NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Is that something you're looking at and a future way of also doing payments, not just purely through credit cards and the like?
No, honestly, no, crypto is not something that we're exploring anytime soon. And frankly, that's because I don't know if it's very accessible to creators and their fan bases yet. If we talk to creators, if we talk to fans, which we do a lot of, no one really has a wallet yet. And so that doesn't make sense to implement.
Interesting. Talk about sort of what everyone feels is in the zeitgeist, but for you, it's not, you're feeling it's not accessible. Talk to us about some of the other, I can feel at the moment you're focused very much on the marketing, you're focused very much on the hiring. What are there in terms of barriers to building, barriers to growing? Because I know that you're someone who's spoken very passionately, for example, about Apple and how you're able to, build your own business and the way in which you pay and the like. How is your relationship with that particular, mega platform, basically?
Oh man. Well, if anyone here has seen my tweets on Apple, they'll know that it's not great. And frankly, when you started asking that question and you said the word barrier, my first thought was Apple, and it's honestly very depressing. But Apple has a lot of control over apps and developers that live on the App Store. For people who don't know, Apple takes 30% of a cut from every transaction that happens, and that cut, frankly, does not work with creator companies, right? Fanhouse, for example, takes 10% of transactions because we want to pay 90% out to creators. And Apple wants 30% of this piece, which results in us having to upcharge fans on the app. And actually, ever since we've implemented IAP, we've seen a 10% decrease in sales. And, users are messaging us every day. They're like, why is it so expensive? I have to pay bills. I have to pay all these things. I just want to support someone for $5 and yet it costs 10. And we have no ways of explaining to them that it's an Apple fee because you're not even allowed to do that in the app.
Is it only Apple? Is Android an issue or is it really just specific to that particular?
It's Apple and Android, but Apple has a few more like strict regulations that make it, honest, just nearly impossible to explain. You can't explain fees. You can't link out people to the website. It's much stricter in that regard.
Okay, so we'll see how you're continuing conversation, I'm sure, with them, and indeed as they face other, conversations of that type actually in the courts at the moment. We'll see how that continues to evolve. But it's interesting hearing from the actual creators as to why that's a limiting factor right now. What are you most excited about for the future as we think about you and I are sat here virtually in front of a conference, but we've just had in real life conference dovetailing with that. How are you seeing as people return to quote unquote a more normal work-life existence? Is it going to be more normal? How does Fanhouse evolve as we start to sort of see a post-COVID life?
No, I think with work shifting again, I think the pandemic has helped introduce a new normal, right? With remote work, with remote life. Fanhouse, for example, is a company that I think we're always going to be remote first. We have employees all across the world, people in the UK, people in Argentina, and I think we're going to stay that way. And same thing with creators. We found a new way of having an income online, and I don't think anyone is going to give that up just because they can also make money in person. It's just a new way that people are going to keep.
And just lastly, we've got 30 seconds. What's the most successful person on your platform making? Like, what sort of income are we talking about?
Close to 80,000 a month.
Wow. One that I'm sure that got our audience's ears pricked up, I'm pretty sure. We thank you so much for taking the time. I'm sure you're super busy. We're going to let you get back to all your hiring that you're doing, or the marketing that you're doing, or the conversations you're having with your partners. We thank you so much. Of course, Rosie Nguyen, you know her as Jasmine Rice Girl.
Thank you so much for having me.